Hey boys and girls, happy Friday to you. I hope you guys are all doing really well. Maybe you're just still waking up and having breakfast and still got your PJs on, and that's okay. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about our homework, and also our iReady card came home. So over here, I hope I have made clear directions for moms and dads to go onto our Foothills website. Most of what we did this week was learning how to log into iReady, and then also doing reading and a math lesson. And so if moms and dads are listening, your student took a diagnostic test this week, and which would then determine the subsequent lessons that they would be doing. So based on how well they did on the diagnostic for reading and for math, it then creates lessons that are progressive with their learning, and they're not like repetitive. So it just works on the skill level, and as your child grows in their skills, so too will the lesson. So it's a great opportunity. We don't have usually a lot of time in kindergarten to utilize those lessons. We will do so on Fridays, but it's also great to be able to do it at home. So each student should have had a card sent home, which has a class number, and the class number for the morning class is different than the afternoon class. And then each student has a picture code that identifies them. So if you go to the Foothills website, and you look for student links, you'll find a little icon if you scroll down a little bit that says iReady. And when you click on that, it gives sort of prompts you to a login screen. And for kindergartners, there's a little guy, it just says off to the side, K through 1, log in over here. And so that's where they'll use their cards. And for the most part, students were able to log in. Once you got them there, they know to click on that blue button. They should know, might need a reminder, and then how to enter in their class code and their own picture code. So they have to find their name and then enter in those codes. Okay, so let's talk about our homework. So that's something always available that can be done. I get to see the results of their testing and their lesson progression, and so it's something that helps sort of provide that big picture for us in kindergarten. So let's take a look at our homework. So everybody has the same assignments this week. I really wanted everybody to be working on their numbers and addition. So here we have summing up the mittens. So over here you have your mittens, and you have to color. So remember that there were 3 strategies, boys and girls, that we use when we're doing addition. And remember, show me addition. This is what addition looks like. Great. So we can draw pictures, we can count with our fingers, and we can draw objects like shapes or tally marks, or whatever it might be for you. Usually if you find one thing, that tends to be what we stick with. But you can draw flowers, you can draw cars, you can draw robots, as long as it matches the number and helps you with your addition. So you have to solve these addition sentences, these equations, and based on the answer. So if I have 3 plus 3, I'll say 3 plus 3, and then I'm going to count and add them all together. Remember, adding is about all together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my answer for 3 plus 3 is 6, and that means I need to color that mitten orange. And that's how you do this first page. Okay? Let's take a look at the next page. Last week we did a lot of cutting and gluing. This week it tends to be a little bit more coloring. We all in our classes and in our skills need to work on those fine motor skills. So the more that we work on slowing our coloring and really work on coloring within the lines as best we can, and that more than helps us with our handwriting. So just training those little muscles in your fingers is so important, just like we train our brain. And so these are fun ways of doing that. So by coloring. So again, if it's a hat, you're going to color it red. If it's a snowflake, it becomes blue. And if it's a mitten, it's green. And then boys and girls, once you've colored all of them together, you need to count to see how many there are all together. So if I'm looking at little hats, how many red hats do I have all together? So again, we're counting and writing that number here, okay? Same thing for snowflakes and for the mittens. You must color first, then count them and add them in below. Okay. Oops, skipped a page. I skipped a page. All right. And continuing with our adding. So this is taking a look at our 10 frames. We know that it's a 10 frame because it has, looks like 10 boxes or 10 picture frames all together. And you're going to count how many is there. Boys and girls, they have told you how many are there. This is like when we do bubble math and I say my first question, right? It's always, okay, how many have I blown, right? How many are all together? And you count for me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you subitize and you tell me it's 5, Mrs. Anderson. And the next question is what you have to answer here. The next question is, how many are left? Okay, and so when we do that, we have to count the empty boxes. It's exactly like our bubble math. Okay, so we know our goal is always going to be 10. All of these should equal 10. So what number is missing to help us get to all 10? Okay, so that's exactly like bubble math. Okay, and then on the next page, you're going to do some writing for me. This one is called I Can Write, and we're taking a look at the snowman. It says, color the snowman, write 1 to 2 sentences describing your snowman. So boys and girls, I know that writing can be pretty hard. We haven't had a huge opportunity to write a lot of sentences in class, but I really want you to make sure that what you're writing, and even if you just write one sentence, I'll be very happy. Use the words we know. Use the words we know. We know a lot of words, okay? And you may not have them at home, but what I really want you to do is I want you to stretch that brain and try to hear those sounds. Try to hear the sounds. If you're writing and maybe brother, sister, or mom or dad take a look at it and they say, oh, that's not how it's spelled, it's okay. Our goal is not to be good spelling students in kindergarten. Our goal is to hear the sounds. So it may not be spelled right. That's okay. We don't care about the spelling. What we care about is how we hear the sounds, okay? So work on that. And remember the things that we need to do when we do our writing. So we always start with a capital letter. Always, always. And if you don't, I know you don't have your little space doohickey at home, but you have other things that you can use. You can use a finger. You can put a crayon in the middle. You can put some straws down. You can use lots of things at home to help you to remember to put those spacing in between our words. Right? So we have to start with an uppercase letter. We have to have our finger spaces or anything spacing our words out so they're not all crunched together. And number 3, we need to end our sentences with our punctuation. And a lot of times we're just practice with our period. And remember, the period always goes at the end. So we practice those skills every day. It's important that you start putting those skills in your writing, okay? And many of you do. So this is a great opportunity for you to do that, okay? Tell me about your snowman. If you're going to color your snowman, you can say, my snowman is blue. My snowman has a hat. You know, you just write it. It doesn't have to be complicated, but you need to write a sentence and you need to show me that you can start with a capital letter, an uppercase letter, that you can put those spaces in between your words, and that you know how to end with a period, okay? Okay. This is called making CVC words, and CVC words are a combination of letters from the alphabet. So what I want you to do, this was a little hard. It might seem a little bit hard, but I really want you to listen, okay? So if I'm looking at looks like a bag, a pin, a net, rug. This poor little girl, she looks sad. And over here, log. Okay, so now we know what each one of these pictures is. I want you to go back and look at the word or the picture bag. And I really want you to stretch it out. Bag. Or bag. Bag. Listen to each one of those letters. You don't have to hear them all, but start with the first one. What's that beginning sound? B, 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 b. Good. So then I would write down B for my first letter. Now what's that next letter? Let's go back and investigate. Ready? B, a, 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 A. So I would write B, A. And then what's my last letter? What's that final sound, the caboose sound? So we go back and we just go B, A, G, 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 G. And it doesn't even look like I'm moving my mouth, and I can do that and make that sound, and that's letter G. Okay, so B, A, G. And you're going to do that, boys and girls, for all of this. This is a really important skill. This is something that will help us with our writing and our reading. So this is definitely higher level than just saying the sounds, reading the letters and the sounds. This is taking it to that next level where we're building our words. So this is good practice for you here. Now, if you're working with mom or somebody at home on this, that's great, but it's really important about what sounds you hear. And I really feel like many of you can do this independently. That means boys and girls on your own, okay? Because we know our letters and our sounds, okay? So listen for that. And then the next page, oh, sorry, they give you the letters, okay? They give you the letter. You can write them in or you can cut and paste these in. It doesn't matter to you. It might be more helpful to see that you have letters to use, okay? And then the last page, boys and girls, for our homework is our sight words. And some of these words we haven't learned the word do, but it's really close to the word to, do, and the rest we certainly know. So you just have to search and find those. That's kind of fun. It's important to be able to recognize those words even if they're written a little bit differently. And so you see how sometimes they look a little bit different. Okay, so that's it today, boys and girls. That's your homework. This is not just busy work, boys and girls. These are things that we're working on in class. These are things that we need more practice on, and so being home on Fridays gives us that time to practice. If you were coming to school on Fridays, we would be doing this kind of work. So these are really important skills. This is not just busy work. This is work to help us grow in our skills. So, and this is what I look. Sometimes it takes me a while to get all your homework back to you because I stop and take a look at everything that you're doing, and it helps me to know where you are, and we work on those skills in class. So you have more than enough to keep you busy today, to keep you warm, working warm because it's a little bit cold outside this morning. And remember, you guys have, let's see, today is Friday, so you have Friday sleeps. So Friday night you sleep, Saturday night sleeps, Sunday night sleeps, Monday night sleeps, and Tuesday night sleeps. After 5 sleeps, you come back to school. So you get an extra long break this weekend. And please make sure you have enough time to do your homework. You have time to be playing the fun lessons on iReady, and you have time to be practicing your books. So I know some of you, I got your books out a little bit late. But that's okay. You have an extra days there. I will see you in 5 sleeps. Okay, boys and girls, have a great weekend.